Thanks for joining Try 5 Talk. Your host, Daniel, Craig, and Joey.
Word.
Hey, you're live right now. Try 5 Talk in the Mob. Thanks for joining us. This is going to be a continuing series of mob member interviews on the Try 5 Talk with the mob. Today, this is Big Craig. I'm joined with Daniel Check and Joey Truelove with the Gold Digger 56. Today's guest is Mr. Matt Murray. Matt Murray, how you doing?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Great.
Honestly, I know that you and I have talked a couple times on the phone over the last couple of years, but seeing face to face, doing a little talk, I'm really excited to do this. So, Matt, first question is, do you have any nicknames besides Matt Murray? What's your nicknames?
Mostly just Matt. That I could safely say, but yeah, Matt.
Now, if
not
we
like,
would have emailed,
not like doormat or anything like that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, if we would have emailed your wife, would we have got a couple other choices?
Oh, absolutely. But
Matt,
I was gonna say I do have a couple friends that call me, well, me and Tracy, Last Minute Murray. We seem to be relate to everything we do. So that Matt, that's about it.
I'm going to be honest. This is the first podcast, probably, I want to say ever, where I actually had my camera pulled up before Daniel even sent me the link. I was actually sitting here ready to go. So
that's a first.
New year.
Matt, tell everybody where you're at, where you live.
I live in Seymour, Indiana. We're about midway of Indianapolis and Louisville, Kentucky. Seymour, Indiana is home of John Mellencamp. It's probably one of the big things that came out of here. So yeah, kind of middle of cornfields, but a little short drive, and we're to the city life.
Does he come back home at all? Does he come back home, or
family's here? He lives about an hour away in Bloomington, Indiana, over where Indiana University's at. So
Hoosiers.
They make a good tire too. So
yeah, exactly.
I think what we should do, like on Hoosiers, if you just take the last part of it off and just put hoe. I mean, wouldn't that be great? Just have a hoe tire.
Hoe tire.
Charge more.
Or you can say,
I don't know how much Hoosier would like about that, but
I think you should put daddy on there. Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I mean, that would be pretty good. So Matt, man, all these projects, we all have to do something for a living. So how do you pay for these things? What do you do?
Well, a couple different ways. So my full-time job, me and my pops, we own a car audio shop. Actually got 2 stores here in Indiana, called Audio Source. We've been doing that, man, for forever. 1995, I think I was a junior, sophomore in high school, riding moped to school, putting in car audio. So that's what we've been doing. That's my main thing. I call it my second shift is doing LS harnesses. I build those in the evening. That's pretty much where the funding comes to. I do a harness, I get something for the 57. So those are my 2 money makers.
Nice. Well, that kind of rolls into the next question was, that is your car. Tell us a little bit about the car.
So right around this time, like 7 years ago, is when I purchased it. I built a couple other cars, and with that dream of a 57 convertible. So what I always wanted to build a car, enjoy it for a little bit, sell it, get the next car that was worth a little bit more, just keep getting it to where I can get a 57. Well, I finished a 63 Impala convertible, and no sooner than had it done, maybe a couple months later, I caught word that there was a 57 convertible for sale, and we made it happen and sold one and got the next. So about 7 years now.
Very good.
Say, Daniel, I don't want to interrupt, but are we live on the mob right now? I cannot find it.
Yes, we are live in the mob.
All right, then I'll keep looking. It's just me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's live in the mob. Yes, sir.
Where do we go find that, Daniel?
It should be. It's in the Try 5 mob. It's live right there.
Boy, I'm gonna refresh my screen then.
Yeah, it's been live for about 11 minutes now.
All right. It's on me.
I don't know. Maybe check my personal page. I mean, it should be on the mob.
I got it.
You got it?
Nope. We're good. I'm just making sure because we've had that mistake before.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
make
No,
sure
we're good. We're good. Let's see. How long have you been a member of the mob?
February 28th, 2018.
Ooh. So 2018, what's that? 4 years now?
Yeah,
Matt's an OG.
I'm an OG.
All right. We're going there. We're going with the OG.
Probably one of the young OGs in the group.
Mm.
What's that? What do you mean by that?
Well,
I'm a little hurt, man.
Well, I mean, I turned 30 in like 2 weeks, so.
Turned 30. Okay.
That makes me, Matt. That makes me feel really. I'm gonna be honest, man. I thought you were a little older than that. I feel really good that I darkened this up this last week for you.
No, I'll be. I think I'll be 43. 43. Yeah. But I feel 30.
Yeah, we all do some days. That's what Viagra's for. I'm good to go.
So, what do you like to do when you're not, try-fiving?
Well, hang out with buddies, that kind of stuff. We're always moving. I got 2 young daughters that are into everything imaginable, so we're always moving all the time. So whether it's basketball or gymnastics or cheerleading or basketball, we're always moving, doing something like that. So in free time, it's tinker around on the 57. That's part of why it's a 7-year project. And of course, family stuff, hanging out with the wife, doing some lake time, hanging out with friends on the lake, that kind of fun stuff.
Okay.
So you got a big variety of different things,
Yeah.
With I guess everything's got a stereo system, right? All the stuff in the boats and all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And the loudest. So,
I mean, yeah. I need to talk to you about I'm going to get a side-by-side, and I need to talk to you about doing some stuff for the side-by-side.
Speaking of side-by-side, was there pictures from this weekend, Joey, of out with side-by-side? Was there something that happened this weekend, kind of a little accident or something that I saw?
Well, not with our group. But there were two of them on the trail that broke, and then we actually somebody went on their side, and we tipped them back over. So, but It was fun.
Okay.
Say, Daniel, we got a few comments on the mob here that talks about the connection. You might want to check your internet there.
Yep. I'm looking at that and checked a few things. I think it's just, and it may be the simple fact that it's kind of windy here. The wind's kind of blowing the lines around outside, and I've had issues with that previously.
Gotcha.
Hopefully it'll clean up in a little bit.
Matt, every time I'm on Facebook when I'm out of jail, it seems like about every few days I see Matt Murray on vacation with his family. How often is that, really?
Well, it's funny you say that. So what is today? Tuesday. Saturday I leave for Hawaii for a week.
Oh wow!
So we always try to do around school, like a fall break and a spring break. We always want to go do something.
Yep.
We're in Indiana, so we got to get out of here, and we all like the beach, so we wind up in Florida a lot. Our place down there is Destin. We really like down the Destin, Florida area, but I can never seem to catch up with any car events down there when I'm there. It always seems like there's something going on the day we're coming in. Everybody's leaving, but it's nice. That's what we like to do. But
where is Destin in Florida?
Alabama. Soon as you, literally maybe 45 minutes in from Alabama, it's right there. So
you're up on the Panhandle or whatever they call that.
Yeah, it's not very far.
Very white beaches. It looks like sugar.
Yeah.
It looks like sugar.
Yeah, clear water, white sand, right off of a postcard.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about your tastes and style. What does your current fleet of cars look like? In some of your pictures, we kind of see a Jeep in the background. Is that kind of something that you enjoy as well, or is there other kind of vehicles that you?
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, I've got, well, Tracy has a Jeep, so we're into the Jeep thing, doing when we get a chance, going on the Jeep cruises, rides, that kind of stuff. Whenever we got a little free time, um, I'm in SUVs. I've got a big Yukon. I mean, I've got to have something nice, big enough to haul the kids around, and all the sports gear and whatnot. Um, but yeah, those are our two cars: a big gas guzzler and a little bit smaller gas guzzler.
Gas guzzlers.
You keep mentioning your girls. How old are your girls, Matt?
12 and 9.
So you got about a good 12 years left before you even see any freedom.
Oh yeah, right. No, it's all right. It's fun.
That's the
They're
good age,
into it.
man, because they can dress themselves. They can feed themselves. It's all of that. That's a good time too. Enjoy
Yeah,
that,
but
brother.
I just got to be careful what they feed themselves and how they dress themselves.
Well,
Right.
I could tell you some stories about mine. So all of us that have daughters, it's like,
Yeah.
don't wear the short shorts around your dad. It's just not cool.
Oh no,
I know it's in style.
they're not at that. They're more into the sweatpant outfit and that kind of stuff. I'm like, come on, man, get a little dressed up. We're taking you out to eat.
Right.
But
So like looking at your 57's a convertible. So have y'all taken that out to eat? I mean, like what kind of things? I mean, obviously it's a cruiser because it's convertible and it just it just screams that it's a beautiful car. So kind of tell us
well,
what are you kind of into with that?
so we've technically the car's not done. It's drivable. I think we've maybe have put 1 or 2 laps around town on it. I still got a couple things to finish up on it, but uh, we started to take it out to go eat, and then it got dark, and I was like, well, it's the first time having everybody in the car. I don't want something to happen with it being 9 o'clock at night and that kind of stuff. So we just, but yeah, I mean, I doubt it's even got 10 miles on it yet.
Okay.
Wow.
But I mean, that's kind of what you probably built it for, right? It's to take the family out and do some stuff like that.
Yeah, go out, put the top down, go cruising around.
How many of those miles are going to and from a car show?
I took it to the first time I took it out. We got a local car show. It's a pretty big event held by a local group there, and 3 miles there. That was the very first time I drove it out of the garage, so I didn't get a chance to really drive it more than 100 yards. So it was white knuckled the whole way there and the whole way back, but it done all right. But
that I can imagine if there's a drive-in theater. I mean, that would just be the perfect car to just cruise out there with everybody in it, and you got a sound system so it can replay on the sound system. Everybody be like, "Where's that sound coming from?"
Yep, it will have when I get it all done, and we have a couple drive-ins within probably an hour, so that's on the to-do list.
Awesome. Now, being a low rider style like that, Matt, what kind of, and I know you got the air ride, you got all that good stuff on it. I mean, you spent some big coin on this car, because I've watched it for 4 years, and I can honestly tell you, I cannot wait until you prioritize the nationals and we can actually see this car, because it's been 4 years of watching it. And I've got, I get 250 guys sending me pictures of their cars, and I'm trying to keep names straight and whatnot, but I basically know your car and any picture out there. What do you expect for the ride? Is if you're going down the highway in a low rider with the little tires and rims like that, what kind of ride do you expect to feel out of it?
Well, on this one, I don't know really, honestly, because I've never had a car on air suspension. Everything I've owned, my other 4 or 5 cars I've built have all had hydraulics on them. So those have been choppy, bouncy. I mean, my last one I built, my '63 Impala, it rode decent. I mean, it wasn't a Cadillac, but it rode. I hop on interstate and cruise 80 miles an hour to 3-hour way to a car show, no problem at all. So I'm guessing air should ride a little bit better, hopefully. But
sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's I'm not 100% sure how air should ride, but
Is there any three-wheeling action with the air suspension instead of hydraulics?
no, not with the air ride.
Not with air ride. You don't have every one of them set up individually.
Yeah, but I don't know if it would do that or not. I've never done it before. I'm kind of learning as I build this setup, so
Okay.
it could be possible, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Did with your previous, with your previous cars and everything, I mean, did you three-wheel them? Did you enter any of the hopping contests or any of that kind of stuff?
None of the hopping contests per se, but more, yeah, I three-wheeled it everywhere. I mean, coming in and out of places, dragging the bumper, hopping it in front with somebody to hop, like hot rod guys. It's do a burnout, go to a low rider event, it's hop it. You're driving in, it's natural. You gotta hop in front of somebody. I mean, I didn't get into anything crazy like what some of the guys that with a whole bunch of equipment in the truck that are sticking straight up in the air. I never got in. I was never able to do anything like that, but it would still come off the ground a little bit.
All right,
Now,
cool.
Daniel just put up a picture showing your front control arms. What control arms is your upper arm? Is that just a stock control arm that's been welded on to strengthen, or what?
Well, so in the lowrider side of things, what guys do is they will extend the upper control arm. So that's a stock control arm. So like for instance, it was cut down. I believe that one was cut right behind the mounting ears, and 1-inch steel was added in there, and then everything was reinforced on the bottom and the top to make it still look very factory. The idea that is to bring the upper wheels out. So as you're hopping a car, as the suspension comes down, it gives it more inward to spring back. So you would get a higher hop. Those were done originally when I started building the car 7 years ago. I was going to make it a straight lowrider car, this and that. And then as the car started coming along, I was like, this is expensive. This car's really expensive. I don't know if I want to do that yet. So that's where I kind of went to the air ride side of things, where I can still raise up and down. I can still drag the bumper, and look good laid out when it's all the way down, tuck the back wheel and have that look, but hopefully have the ride of air ride.
Okay. Is the exhaust a big challenge in that?
Yeah, right now. So I'm running, I think it's 2.5-inch stainless from the headers back, and trying to squeeze it within the X-frame that the convertible has. There's a couple little sleeves in there to get into. It's muffler tucked up in a little or in the X, a tiny little MagnaFlow polished muffler, and then it comes out. Right now, it's dumping in front of the axle, so it's a little noisy. But I've done all that stuff pretty much myself. So I got I'll take it to an exhaust shop to get it up and over the axle to kind of tone it down a little bit.
So it sounds like you do a lot of the work yourself. I mean, we know you do a lot of the, you talked about your expertise in the LS harness stuff. So kind of give us an idea, like, what do you normally do on the car? Is there stuff that you pay somebody else to do? The idea of the shop that you have. I mean, some of us just have, 2-car garages, and others have really nice shops. And
so
what are you able to do?
So I'm very fortunate that we have a very large, the Columbus store that I run, it's big. I mean, the car's been parked in there, and that's where I work at. So I've been able to, I've always been a DIY type guy. I want to do it myself. So everything on this car, the only thing I haven't done was paint, the seats, the convertible top, and one of my good buddies welded the 4-link bars in for me. Everything else, all the wiring, all the trim, that was kind of nerve-wracking because the car had, when I purchased it 7 years ago, the gentleman I bought it from, it was basically a box. There was a whole bunch of boxes I got. There was nothing put together. It had new quarters, new floors, new trunk. So there was no holes for trim anywhere. I mean, and originally my idea was, this car, it has all the parts, it has a motor, it's ready to go, it just needs put together. I can have it done in a year. Well, here 7 years later, we're talking about my car almost being done, but it's changed past. I mean, originally
Mhm.
it came with it was a Matador red collar, or U-Haul orange is what I refer to it as. No offense to red car guys, but that orange wasn't for me.
Now I
It
know that
had
orange because we've worked on 55 years ago. It had a cream top and that orange. Oh, well, that and the cream, that's got its place, but no, not my
yeah.
taste.
And I wasn't sold on painting it the different. See, when I bought the car, it was the red, and it was a super nice paint job. It's just the front clip wasn't painted. And one of my good buddies, Ed Sederberg, over in Rolla, Missouri, he was going to paint the front clip, and he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to have to blend back into the doors." He goes, "The paint job's great, but I'll have to blend back in the doors." He goes, "We're painting 3/4 of the car." He's like, "Would you have picked red?" I said, "No." So go start driving around picking out colors, picked it, and then I ended up. I've always been a blue guy, so we had that done. When I got it, originally had the big high performance V8 with the dual quads, the big intake, the Batwing air cleaner, the heads, all that kind of stuff, which was cool. I liked it. I was going to run that, and I started running numbers on it. None of the stuff matched up, so I was like, there's nothing that makes this special to this car. It's just a bunch of parts put together.
Mhm.
And coincidentally enough, the gentleman I purchased the car from, he's like, "I want that motor." So I sold him the motor back and done good on that. And my last car I built had an LS, and I was like, "That's what I'm going to put in here. Something I can just turn the key and drive it and get
Right.
20 plus miles a gallon." And that's kind of what slowed me down. It's always been, I thought starting out, yeah, we'll put together, but I want to do something a little different. I just got to always one up something.
Okay.
Now, Matt, you've got an awesome Continental kit with that car. Is that something that came with the car, or did you have to shop for that?
Oh, I had to shop for that. I had to look hard. And actually, once I looked, I kind of stopped looking, and then it fell into my hands. I had a guy from Facebook reach out to me. He's like, "Hey, I've got a Continental kit. We're building a car here. The guy's decided he wants to go away from the old school look, and he wants to put big wheels on it." So, and I happen to have a re-chromed original rear bumper, and we done some trading and a little. I had to pay him some money for the Continental kit, so it worked out well.
Oh, perfect. Now, besides from the Continental kit, the air ride system in it, is there anything about the car that sets it apart, you think, from other Tri-5s or convertibles? Anything sets it apart that what would you say?
I think right now the interior, the direction I'm going with the interior is going to kind of take it away from, give it that more of a modern look. I I went with, I mean, like I said, it came with all the original stuff. I sold it. I kind of went to bucket seats, picked those up, I believe, out of a 2000, late 2008 to 10 Cadillac. Had those chopped down, the upholstery all done, back seats to match it with uh, all the same stitching and bolstering and that kind of stuff. But my idea is to make the interior kind of look like something. If you went to a dealership within the past 5 years and you sat in a new premium luxury car with nice three-dimensional door panels, a nice center console, something that, I mean, I want it to look like a 57, but when you sat down inside of it and turn the key and drive, I want it to feel like you're driving in a new vehicle.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yep.
What, Matt, is there something you're particularly proud of that you've done, like you just overcame something or just something unique you're proud of on the car?
Um, Honestly, all of it. I never thought that I could take a whole bunch of boxes. I'm not sure if one of the pictures I sent you, Daniel, there's racks in the background of my picture. Well, when I first got the car, I've got like those big racks that you would see at like Menards that they put all their inventory on and stuff. That was boxes full of Tri-Fi parts. Um, I bought the car all hyped up. Oh man, I could do this. And then I started going through the stuff and I was like, holy cow. And I've never built a Tri-Fi, so I can look at a piece and went back to when I bought the car. When I bought the 57, I bought the guy's whole collection of parts that he started collecting in 1963. So I start putting pieces on the car. Well, why ain't this fitting? Oh, well, that's for a 55 hardtop. Okay, well, it makes sense now. So I've had to learn how to take that box and get it to where it's at now. So kind of proud of that. I mean, the ultimate goal is just to get something I can hop in and drive around everywhere. I mean, I want to hit like Route 66. I want to put some miles on it.
Now,
I mean, the fact that you got a family and kids, you're working, that's, it takes a lot,
Oh, yeah.
and just like I said, not even being around, with, understanding that and having to learn. So, yeah, kudos to you, man, for sure.
well,
Thank you. Thanks.
One of the questions that honestly has started to annoy me through the last 4 or 5 years, because when we got the mob going, a lot of it was so Jim and I could have help, because Jim Noren knew a lot about this, but we needed help. Like, this is a hardtop. I needed help with extra things, and we're, every car is different. So it's nice being able to reach out. And I know you've reached out in the past, with questions and stuff. And I always think that's something we got to get back more of on the page, just sharing some of that. But one of my questions that I still get if I post up my car, and it's one of the reasons probably I don't post as much as I do on like other pages. Hey, what color blue is that? And I'm like, well, depends which day I photoshopped it a different shade or, tinted or something. So everybody always asks, what color blue is that? So I'm giving you the question that I hate. What color? How did you come to the color? Or is it custom?
It is a Chrysler color. I believe the paint code is a PB5 electric blue, maybe. I believe that's.
I know that color.
What would we find that on? Like a Breeze, Plymouth Breeze, or something?
Probably.
I think
the most that
I think the Dodge pickups and Durangos.
I was going to say that the trucks are what I've had.
Okay.
I've had it. So it's got a lot of metallic in it, depending on the sunlight. But I originally wanted to do. There was a really cool forward blue color I picked out until I found out it was a tri-coat. And then I was like, man, we're going to be driving all the time. It'd be hard if I get a chip or something like that to match up where the PB5, I can call the local paint shop and they mix it up. I mean, it is what it is, and get it pretty close. So
make sure that they saved some. I would hope that they saved some paint from when they originally painted it, so they have some of the original paint left.
Yeah, I could probably get it at Walmart in a rattle can, couldn't I?
Probably not.
Duplicolor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now, the biggest reason I say that is because it's, it was mixed by Bob on Wednesday, and Bob may not make it exactly, even though the scale says it. He may not have made it perfectly the same. Next week when you need a little bit for touch up or whatever. Always make sure that there's a little bit left over, so for the touch up purposes, so it matches.
I always think that, like at Home Depot, when you go in there to get colors mixed and they have a little thing that squirts a little bit of that, and I'm like, how often do y'all calibrate that thing? Because just a little bit off of that tint can change everything in that.
I'm gonna tell you, when I did a lot more painting, somebody gets like, I'll paint my kitchen. My mother will come over. She'll never see this podcast, so I can always blame her. I'll just get done painting the wall. And my mom will run a dining room chair back into the wall. So then I got to patch it, fill it. And I won't just paint that little area because you'll always see it.
Right.
And so I always go from corner of room to corner of room. And you can say, I remember my kitchen color is called Privilege Green. And I'm like, okay, you go get that Privilege Green from Sherwin-Williams, and 2 years later you need it again. Oh, yep, not a problem. Here's a paint code. It doesn't match.
Completely.
No,
completely.
No. I've seen that with home improvement stores. Even with, and my wife does. We do a lot of painting in our house. Rooms have changed colors throughout the years that we've owned the house. But when we go to get the same color, because we're going to use the same color in another room, and you go to set it up to the wall, because you got a new can, it doesn't match. So, I know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's all right. Matt, what year did you buy your car?
7 years from tomorrow. 7 years ago. I think we're about. Yeah, it was right around January 4th, 5th, 6th, that time frame. I'm surprised Facebook hasn't popped up. That's how I'll know when I got it. Facebook memory pop up and like, man, really 7 years already?
Right.
But
So past
goes-
or
it goes
present,
by
is this your
fast.
favorite? Is this your favorite car, or do you have another favorite car?
I think it will be. I don't know. My 63 Impala I built, that car, it was super nice. I mean, it chrome undercarriage, I mean, chrome inner fenders. It was a car that I could hop in and drive everywhere. The 57, I think, it will be my favorite when I'm done with it.
And why is that?
Um, because it's got everything that I want so far. Like the 63 didn't have air conditioning, and you say, oh, you're in Indiana, summertime, it only gets 90 degrees. Yeah, well, 100% humidity, cruising down the road. I mean, me and my buddy drove it to a show 2 hours away, a little over 100 miles, pulled up at a stoplight when we finally got to the show, and our phone shut off because it was so hot. Bald spots were beat red. I mean, we were hot, and I said, we'll never do that again. So I had to put AC on it. I mean, it's what I've always wanted to get. So
Right.
that's part of what's taken a little long to do. I mean, I don't have all that extra money. I gotta build a LS harness. I got to do something like that, and like, oh, there's that to get this. So
Yep. No, I understand that because I side hustled once I started my build. I knew I had a budget, and I knew that budget just kept growing. And all right, I do home inspections. There's a $400 afternoon that's going to pay for this. There's a $400 a year, something like that. And it's side hustling. I was selling Android TV boxes. Back in the day because I had a little connection. I was whipping those through, and all that money was simply for the car. That way I didn't take any steak and potatoes from the wife and the kids.
Yeah,
so I got to understand that.
I got to where I didn't even really think about the price. I thought of, oh well, that's this amount of money. That's 3 wiring harnesses I got to do. Let's get those knocked out real quick so I can get that part. So,
cool.
See, that's right where you're at right now. You're going, you've got that monetary value. What can I do? How can I earn it? Get it?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things you touched on is air conditioning, which I've used mine 3 times in 3 years. And because I always roll just with the windows open, and I'm in Minnesota, and be honest, most days are not unbearable where I'm cruising with the windows down, so I don't care. And when I go to Kentucky, I can't use it because the car's already overheating, so I haven't been able to figure it. So I want to get a radiator. Well, I know that switching to the PR, was it Joey, the PRC radiator?
PRC. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, PRC, switching that and switching the air conditioning condenser and everything, it's probably going to be $1,200 to $1,300 in parts just to get it switched over. And so I'm like, I got a whole attic full of antique coolers, extra Tri-5 parts, all this stuff that I got to get on Marketplace because that's the only place that I'm going to get. I got to get rid of that so I can get something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
So I'm sure it's a question that you hear quite often, but how low is a car? Does it actually pass the cigarette pack test, or is it too low for the cigarette pack test?
Brian Reese.
So, yeah, it would crush a pack of cigarettes when it's all the way down.
So actually, will it lay frame?
It is probably 2 fingers off the ground when it's all the way down. And right now, actually, my front, I had to. I don't know if it's the front disc brake kit I got or the plus the upper control arm extension, but I had to put bump stops in the front because it was going to hit the fenders. I don't know if that's from the outward camber or not, but when I didn't have the fenders on and no bump stops, it would lay low enough to where the lower control arm would set on the frame.
Very
All right. Very cool. Very cool.
And then,
so where did you place the bump stops, Matt?
Lower outward, I think, towards the spindle.
Okay.
So I'm gonna actually I'm gonna switch that up a little bit. I just picked up some what were they? Ride-Tech shockwaves for the front, and tubular control arms, front, upper, and lower tubular. So I'm gonna put those on and see if that maybe brings me back a bit because I don't need the extended upper A arm since I'm doing air ride now. So put those on, maybe set those control arms to the side for my next project on the car. So
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that stuff is
Okay.
not cheap. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Those strong arms, good
So
quality though.
so now we've kind of seen a few pictures, of the engine install, seen a picture here and there. So we kind of know that it's got an LS in it and whatnot. But and we've kind of already touched on that. But the engine itself, like, is there anything special to the LS, or is this kind of the junkyard LS that was just cleaned up and painted and put in, or does it have a real rowdy cram?
It's got a cam. I mean, cam and intake and some tuning. I mean, nothing crazy. But yeah, it came out of just a Chevy truck. I mean, nothing fancy. Motor and trans combo. Out of
Is it a 5.3 or 6.0?
5.3. Yeah,
Okay.
just a 5.3. I put I think it's a stage 2 cam in it. The LS6 intake. I mean, nothing super fancy on the inside of it. I'm not a motor guy, so I took the heads off because I dropped a lifter putting the cam in, but that's about my extent on the motor side of things on something like that. It starts and runs and sounds healthy. Down the road, I've kind of been peeking at some turbo setups and stuff. So, Joey, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
You roast those little tires right off, Matt.
Yeah,
there's
That's fine.
speed right there.
I think that you probably wouldn't want anything like 411s or 456s with those tires. I mean, I'm thinking like 273s, maybe even 223s.
So my 63 Impala I done a Ford 9 and a LS, and it would cruise at 70, 72 miles an hour at like 1700 RPMs, with a 13x7 wheel. I think that rear end was geared at 283 maybe. And I got a 10 bolt that we 4 linked in the back of this one, and it's
You got a
right
nose
around
hair,
that same.
Craig.
What's that?
You got a nose hair, Craig.
I ain't got nothing. I'm good.
So
Sorry,
So,
Craig
yeah,
was
the,
getting real close to the camera there. I had to give him a hard time.
that's why I'm
All
staying
right.
back so nobody can see my gray.
Well, I had it colored, but it's growing back again, so it's all right. My wife was watching Yellowstone. She goes, "Hey, that guy with the really dark beard looks pretty good." All right, try to give her a little happiness.
If that's all it takes.
Right. Matt, you clearly have lots of tools, lots of cool equipment at the shop. What are some of your skills and the machines that you have there?
I mean, we've got, man, yeah, we do car audio. So most people, when they think of car audio, they think taking a stereo out of the dash and putting a stereo in the dash. Yeah, that's part of it, but we do a lot of brand new cars, so we've got to have the specialty tools to do everything. We've also, you got to evolve. I mean, the days of square speaker boxes taking up the whole trunk to get bass output. I mean, we do that. We do that, but we've got a full production 4x8 CNC. So I design a lot on CAD and that kind of stuff. We also got a full size CNC laser. That's my favorite tool, the CNC laser, because I could take, and probably another favorite is I got a digitizing tablet. It's a 3x4 foot tablet that I could literally, kind of as an example, I took a 57 door card, held it up onto the tablet, traced around it, and it throws everything in G code right to the CAD for my designing software. And I was able to take that full size door panel, shrink it down 75%, cut it out. So now I've got a workable door panel for a Tri-5. So then I could take that door panel and draw out, I want these little shapes, that design. I'll take that right back over to the digitizing table, trace it all back out, trace those same lines I drew on it, and just zoom it out back to full size, and you're good. I mean, that's part of what I can do, what the abilities are there. So I'm not, there's people out there a whole lot better than me at it. I spend a lot of time trying to learn maybe to do this, to do that, but that's one of my favorite tools to work with is the CNC and the laser. That's what a lot of going back to like building my interior, the door panels, they're going to have that look of a new vehicle because they're going to have the 3D effect with the LED lighting. The trunk is currently what I'm working on, so I can get all the air ride finished up and have it lift other than plugging a air line into it off a Schrader valve and raising it up. But get that done and kind of build forward. But yeah, I mean, I've made a joke before that my friends come to me when they need a tool. We've got every tool imaginable. So
That'd be kind
Awesome.
of cool to see a live video of that, just to see that, you know.
yeah, maybe I could take the mob logo and cut it out in some acrylic or something like that and do like the LED lighting and been really cool Christmas ornaments.
That'd be
Heck yeah,
cool.
man.
Hell yeah, yeah. Because Mark Levine had us. I think it was his son did a really nice job getting some Christmas emblem or
Mhm.
stuff last
Yep.
year for us.
Yep, I've seen
And
that. That's awesome.
yep, super. I'd love to have something fun like that. My dad had CAD. He was our drafting teacher, so
Mhm.
he's always doing stuff with CAD machining and stuff like that. And that's fantastic to be able to do that. And just like you said, design your door cards. I mean, I felt really good about drilling a hole in the bottom of the ashtray just to get a USB port in my back ashtrays of the hardtop, and hiding it in there and thinking that was cool. That's my extent of audio in my car.
Yeah. Hey, you do what you can
Hey,
do.
I will say the Gold Digger has 2 6x9s and it does have a radio in it. It's nothing fancy, but
I'm way lost compared to you guys. I just have a small block Chevy with a pair of fender well headers. That's all I got for sound.
Can you
Sorry.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mac could probably
Well-
hook you up with where you could hear over that thing. I'm sure.
Yeah, we
Oh.
could do it.
Probably.
Matt,
But-
what do you think is your biggest or most major challenge you had to overcome with this car?
Figuring out where stuff goes. I mean, like I said earlier, I would have pieces in my hand that I would think looked right and not even close. So a lot of you guys in the mob have helped me out. If I got a question, I'm like, hey, they're like, oh, that's not even for that car. That's for a post car or something like that. But yeah, it's trying to figure out what goes where, putting all the pieces together, the puzzle. And like I said, I've always been into Impalas. Those I could tell you, yeah, this is what you need. This goes there, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this car, it was just piecing it all together.
Oh, very
So
cool.
So what's the next major plan for the car
Um,
other than finishing it?
I mean, I want to get it done and get it to some events. I mean, back in the day when me and Tracy we've been married almost 20 years, but we were always going to car shows, that
Now
kind of stuff.
wait a minute. Hold on here. You said
What?
earlier we were talking. You said you were just turning 30, and now
Oh,
you say you've been married for 20 years.
Yeah, we're close to Kentucky. No,
Okay.
I'll be 43. But
Okay.
See, Daniel didn't catch on the fact that I knew you were joking, and I'm like 30, no kidding, and he was like, holy gosh, he's young.
Okay.
I wish.
Yeah. Sorry, I was getting finished
but yeah,
and getting stuff ready.
I want to get back into. I mean, obviously with kids and that kind of stuff, it's not going to happen every weekend. But just to be able to go maybe one a month or something and cruise to it, go do something. Definitely try 5 nationals. It's bad for me that weekend, honestly, because that's our anniversary weekend.
Yeah.
But I mean, we went 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and we stopped by on our way to Nashville. We went down there for the weekend for our anniversary, so we got to meet some members down there and stuff. But I want to go there for a whole day, maybe 2 days, the whole event, something like that. But that I want to get out and enjoy the car.
Absolutely.
Is there any other projects in the works or any tri-5s or once you got through the 57, like would there be another vehicle you'd like to do or?
I'd like to get a wagon, tri-5 wagon, just something that I'd probably put a modern motor and transmission in it and probably drive it every day to and from work. That'd be really cool, and just maybe lower it down a little bit, just have mean, I don't even care what it looks like, just as long as it's comfortable and gets me point
No.
A to point B, something to cruise around in.
As you're going to find out, because your car is beautiful, the paint's beautiful, you're going to be like me, polishing, no belt buckles, watch your jewelry, all that around the car, because it's a nice car. If you get a wagon, patina, leave it the way it is if it's decent.
Yeah, if I was to get something like that, I would just, I mean, I say that now, but I'm that guy that always has to have my hands on something. There's just got to be something always doing to a car, but been like that forever. But yeah, I think if this car was done to where I knew at the end of the day that I could park my daily drive, if I had a wagon that was daily, I'd park it and then go hop in it. I'd be good. I wouldn't have to do anything to it. But
Gotcha.
Well, Craig gives himself, taking off the jewelry and all that other stuff. But his wife has shown me picture. He puts his high heels on when he's out there doing all that stuff too. So
yeah, I've seen them.
A short skirt too.
Well, but I do that for Brian Reese because see, if I wear my heels, my car looks lower and it ticks him off. That's why, so I do that. So
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. And I will say, Matt, there's one guy on Instagram. I forget his handle, and you've probably seen it, but he's got almost the same exact blue 57 convertible as you. But he's got a dark blue top on it. You seen that one?
Yeah, that's one of my buddies, Big Wit. Yeah, so originally when I built the car, my idea was when I painted it blue was to put a blue top on it, and stuff didn't evolve fast enough. I had other stuff come up and everything, and now I take a step back and I look. I'm like, man, I can rattle off 3, 4, 5 blue 57s like mine. I'm like, man, now maybe if I was to repaint, I would have went a whole different color, but I think I was one of the first ones to have that color combo, and that's part of the reason I went with that gray top. You don't see that blue with gray. I say that. Had somebody message me right after I got the gray top. Yo, man, we got twin cars. Oh, really? Blue with a gray top, but it is what it is.
But that's the same thing, because when I wanted to paint mine, I'm like, what color do I paint? Do I two-tone it? Do I go back to the same way it was, a single blue? And I really only found 2 or 3 solid color blues. They were close. I'm like, okay, it's kind of rare. Now, of course, with social media, Instagram, you're starting to see all of a sudden there's more solid blue cars out there. There's always going to be another blue convertible. It's okay. It is what it is.
Well, you don't see them all the same color as yours until you get yours done. Then you start seeing them all.
Yep.
But Jason Lawson wants to give you a shout out because he's still he's in cell block 7 right next to me in Facebook jail.
Yeah.
And so he sent me a picture of the CNC that you did for him of his logo, Savannah Rod and Custom.
Oh yeah. Yep. Cool.
What is that CNC'd out of?
That's acrylic. So we use there's 2 different types of acrylic here. Acrylic that you can go buy at like Menards, Home Depot, or whatever. That works okay. We use a lot of cast acrylic. It just cuts a lot better and has a finer finish. So that's what we use. I cut almost everything out of acrylic, whether it's clear or it's black, but that's the majority. I mean, it cuts wood and everything like that, but I like plastic.
Sure. No, it looks really cool. I wish I could take my phone and switch it, but I can't do that right now. I'm not that good.
No, that's all right. That's all right. So as we're getting close to we're a little bit past our 45 minutes, so we're gonna kind of wind things down here. We've already kind of talked about activities and shows that you're kind of looking at for this coming year. Are there shows that people can try and look for you to be at, or no real plans yet?
Nothing really in the plans. I mean, I'd love to say the Nationals, but I hate to say it, but it's going to be our 20th anniversary, and I don't think that'll slide by.
Matt, my 20th anniversary was at the Nationals, and I was drunk at a buffet doing a live podcast on the Mob or walking around the buffet.
I think I watched it.
Yeah, and that was my anniversary night. Now, am I going to tell you it went well after that? No, because I tend to ignore the wife when all the guys are talking. You're hanging out with the buddies, and she's just right there. So I got my ass chewed for about 1,200 miles home.
I bet. But yeah, that's one that I'd really like to go to. I mean, I've over the years of building a car, I've had a lot of manufacturers I deal with always wanting to bring it out to our booth in SEMA. So that's always been something I always thought would be really cool, getting out to the SEMA event and doing that. I mean, there's a handful of other shows. We've got some local shows here. Here in our town, nothing real huge. I mean, 50 to 100 cars, but I mean, I'd like to get down to what is it? And there's something in Mississippi, cruising the coast.
Yeah, cruising the coast.
I like to go down there. I like to go up to do the Woodward cruise up north. I like to go check that out. I like to get up there to back to the 50s. I mean, those are a few things I like to do. So,
okay,
absolutely,
cool.
Now we kind of passed over one of these questions earlier, but I want to go back and if out of all the mob members, past or present, whether they're still in the mob or active, because we know that Facebook is volatile. Some people just aren't spending the time on.
Right.
And to be honest, if it wasn't for the mob, I probably would have to sign off just for my mental health, because it gets that way. Out of all the mob members, who's probably one of your favorite cars on the mob? And don't have to say any of our three. I'm just in general, get out and whether they're still on or not.
I mean, Jason Lawson, that 57, that blue 57 hardtop he got, that's sweet. Yep. I mean, it lays out low. I like Brian's car. Seen it a couple years ago, I think at Nationals. Awesome car.
Mike Schroeder, he's famous got Cohiba.
Yep, Cohiba. Mike Schroeder, he's got. I really dig his car. I kind of see where I'm going. I like them low. I like cars down low. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of members' cars I like. It's those three. When you ask me that, those are the first three that pop to my mind that I when I see something I'm like, oh, I need to zoom in and check this out and see what's going on. So,
yep,
awesome.
No, and that's kind of exactly how I feel now. And I was just talking to a guy on Instagram. He's got a big page over there called the Tri-5 Crew, and he called me this weekend. And that was one of the first things I told him about what we do. I said, I keep it small. We got 150 guys that want in the mob right now on the list. And I don't have time to go through the list, nor do we have to put everybody in. But I said, the number one thing is it's family. I said, no politics. Try to keep politics, COVID off the page. It's all not what it's about. Let's be happy. And it's family. You never go after somebody's car. You never go after somebody's wife or kids. And that's the number one thing about the page, right? And so, but as there is cars, I go, ooh, I probably wouldn't have done that. And there was an honest, I was talking to him because we had kind of mutual friends, and he's like, yeah, did you see this that he did to this car? I don't like that at all. I said, yeah, but that's his car. It looks good. It's unique. It's his car. It doesn't matter. And I know that people come up to mine. I don't have the best body gaps. I know it could be fit better if I had paid more money or there's other things that I would change a little bit. But it's my car. I built it for me, and can I, being a 6'5", do I feel like I want to get in a lowrider? No, my next car is probably would be a gasser wagon. I want to get up in it. So that's, that's the way I look at it, but I appreciate the craftsmanship of what you've done. I know that you've done 90% of it. And when I went to Brian Reese's house back in September, there's about 1,000 cars at the Beloit Autorama, and I think it was five or six lowriders from Chicago come driving through. I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there's a couple Impalas and all different heavy metal flake drop down. And when they parked, of course, they all parked at different angles, and that was cool. Yeah. And I want to say they were all black guys. I walked right over. It's not my thing, but I appreciate the craftsmanship.
Most
and I
definitely.
asked some questions about everything they did, and I could appreciate. The same time, an hour later, all five of them walked over to me and looked over the car and asked questions and were appreciative of what had been done. And that's really what it comes down to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Amen. So in our last couple of minutes here, we kind of need to wrap up. Obviously, we're going to ask the question, hardtop or post?
Ask me.
If
Is
you
there a
have
diff-
to buy one or you get to win one, what's your choice? Because convertibles and wagons are off the table.
Hardtop.
Okay.
Perfect
Answer. I mean, I'm not even
I
going
mean-
to debate it.
I mean, they're all cool, but if two are identical and I had to walk to one to own as mine, it'd probably be the hardtop. I don't know why, but I guess because the Impalas always have driven around. There's not been that post there to catch your arm when you got your window out, arm out the window, cruising, anything like that. So that's why I go with that.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect guess, Daniel.
What?
Who would you like to see us call out, man? Who haven't we heard from a while? Who should we call out? Because we haven't done call-outs in a while. When I'm back in 12 days, I'm gotta go wild. So who's got to call out?
Man, has Mike done any? Has Mike done a call yet, Schroeder?
He's done one a long time ago. We can call him back out. It's wintertime. He might be hibernating.
Yeah, and he's made some pretty good progression on his car here recently.
You know what? I want to say though, his car's not at his house because he's working on other cars. So he's got his car in storage.
That's right.
Yep.
Huh.
Because I'm hoping he won't have his interior done, but he's hoping to have his done to be able to drive up about 90 miles to the back to 50s next year.
Okay.
So it'll be loud, but he'll get there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of people on the page, and this is what I'm going to say. It comes down to Facebook, just with me, like Facebook jail. This time I'm in for absolutely something stupid that wasn't even nothing. So, and I can understand why people aren't participating because people just truly aren't checking Facebook every day like we used to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate one thing is, Matt, after 4 years, it's been great talking with you. And
you too.
Thanks for hanging in there. And I can't wait to sit and meet you. And I will say that I've always listed you since I first met you, that you're probably in the top, I'm going to tell you top 10 of the mob, not because of you or your car, but because your wife's smile.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Daniel's only on here because he barbecues.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, thanks.
He left me totally out of it, so I have to pay to be on. I have to pay to be on here.
You're hardtop. You're faster than I am. You might. I'm trying to figure out what I can do. That's all.
And when I come back to the 50s, we're having a little competition of with a couple of ropes. So we're going to show up Team Minnesota against Team Texas.
I was never that good. And because we're watching Yellowstone and because Joey had mentioned some things, I went out on eBay and bought 2 used lassos. So when Joey comes up, we're going to have somebody out sitting on or I'm going to rig up a sawhorse and we're going to do some throwing. We're just going to, head and heel it. Maybe I'll send Misty run across the road and see if Joey can head her off. I don't know. We'll see.
So we'll have a little live feed and we'll take a poll. We'll have to give something away. Who do you think is going to catch the most? We'll have is it
Joey,
Minnesota will give away some pins and I'll give away a Gold Digger shirt.
I'm gonna be practicing for 6 months and I know you'll still come up here and whoop it, so it doesn't matter.
All right, well, it's been a good evening, guys. I really appreciate everybody for being here, everybody for watching. Joey, thanks for coming and joining. Craig, thanks for coming and joining.
Yep.
And Matt, I really appreciate you being here, letting us ask you questions about your car, prying into your personal life a little bit. And everybody out there watching, thanks for coming. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. That really helps the channel.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Appreciate it all.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to Try 5 Talk with your hosts Daniel Check, Craig Westfenning, Joey Truelove, and a special thank you for our background designer Chad Reynolds, and a special thank you as well for our production analyst Joe Miller. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.